All right, welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of Inside Iron Studios. This is day 1 of all the statue reveals. You can see we've got our brand new overlay template here finally, and we're looking a little bit more like the official English language watch party for Inside Iron Studios. So Gina's back with us again from Toronto.
Hello.
Charles, live from Montreal.
Great to be back.
Myself, I'm Kris, live from Edmonton, and happy to have anyone tuning in here. Feel free to participate in the live chat. This episode should be streaming on Facebook and YouTube, on the Shelf Space channel, on Gina's channel, Gina Be Collecting. Make sure to check out her channel and my channel as well, Be Mother Reviews. So lots of places to check out this these new statue reveals. So quickly, recap from earlier today, which was mostly DC stuff. A lot of Zack Snyder. We saw the Looney Tunes mashup, the Superman, or sorry, Bugs Bunny, Batman, and the Daffy Duck. Was it Superman?
The quickly. Bugs Bunny and the Daffy Duck, Superman, Batman. That was really nice.
Yeah. We have them on mute. That's Marcelo from Iron Studios. He's speaking Portuguese, so I don't know. I wish I could tell you what they're saying. But quickly, before we get too much further, I just want to clarify with the exclusive codes. We have a discount code right here, 5 the shelf space. You can use that. It automatically stacks with the other 10% code. So this one's good for 15% off, and it works for all the in-stock items at Iron Studios. So there you go. Make sure to use that on your next purchase. 5 the shelf space. So we'll be flashing that up at different times throughout the show. So as we wait here, what's happening with the next episode or next segment, I think they revealed that they have the Masters of the Universe license earlier today. There at least one of their sculptors was working on a Skeletor or a Prince Adam. They were just talking about a Peaky Blinders license. So Iron Studios continues to add to that stable that they have.
Stable. I thought, maybe we could take a couple minutes and talk about some of the highlights of the first show today.
Sure.
Until we start seeing some new reveals.
Yeah.
So, Gina, what was a highlight for you in the first hour?
I was really impressed with that Superman, the one with the fabric, the one that's the sort of their higher end version. It had the fabric cape. That one really impressed me, and I could see where they were going with that one. Really enjoyed the mirror, the 1/10 mirror. And that whole water effect on the base. And I think as Kris was mentioning just a few seconds ago, that whole like Looney Tunes, Batman, Superman mashup, I think it was really cute and really well done.
Okay, quickly, someone was asking ironstudios.com. Yes, that's where the discount code is good for. And then someone else asking, how long is it valid for? That I will have to confirm. At least for this weekend, but I'll confirm with Iron Studios how long that's for.
Yeah, I think one of the highlights for me, in addition to the Daffy and the Bugs, I really liked the Riddler. The Riddler looked good, nice throne piece, nice regal looking piece. I mean, I don't ever remember Riddler looking that good. That's as good as he ever looked.
I think that's an improvement on the spandex with the question mark, like the Jim Carrey costume.
Right. For sure. Riddler always looked meek, and it looked like Robin can beat him. Right.
I told you, yeah. Anyone on the throne, it looks very impressive and more commanding. That to me was the biggest surprise, I would say. Seeing you wouldn't expect to see Riddler on a throne. To me, it worked really well.
Yeah, so it's nice to see, characters get this rebornness to them where, you get to see them in a different light the second time around. It's not easy to do that and succeed.
Mhm.
I mean, they were able to do it with Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel was a secondary character for very many years, and they kind of revamped her into an A-lister. And they're working hard on making the Riddler be an A-lister too, because they don't want Joker in every film, right?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
right now, if you're going to be a Joker in a movie, the pressure is I got to be nominated for an Oscar or else I failed.
Good point. Yeah.
You know, that's
Um,
the pressure.
yeah, and yeah, Spider-Man's kind of doing that right now with getting some of the other villains in his movies. But now they're,
Mhm.
of course, they're bringing back all the old ones for the next one.
Mhm.
But yeah, he was sort of starting to run out. You know, they did the Vulture, Mysterio. Not much left now for Spider-Man, so starting over makes a little sense.
There's been talk for the longest time about doing Craven, but I guess
Craven could be good. You know, he could be a really cool movie villain. Um, hopefully, they do touch on that one.
What was your highlight, Chris, from the first half this morning?
Um, yeah, I like that Superman, the Superman Unleashed. That was pretty cool. It'd be nice to see a opposable cape, like I mentioned during that show. If you could have the cape kind of flowing out to the side, I think it would look better than just hanging down um, behind him. But that was a pretty cool one. The Batgirl looked nice.
Mhm.
that was another nice one.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you know, I'm not always a fan of when artists or sculptors futz with the costume and give it their original creative take.
yeah,
But every so often it works, right? You know,
yeah,
and I thought that with the Batgirl, when they had the fins in the back of her boots, it was a design that worked. Like it wasn't like too much of a stray away from the original design. Um, Worked.
yeah. Sometimes you look at it, and it's like, oh, what, that looks kind of dumb. But sometimes it's like, well, why hasn't that always been there, right? And yeah, the fins look pretty neat. The fins on the boot.
Because you know, when I think of the fins behind the boot, I think Aquaman, right? He has fins behind his boots, or
Yeah,
any of the water based heroes or villains. It's like you got to put fins on their boots. But
yeah.
with Batgirl, it's kind of fit.
So we have a couple people predicting or saying what they want to see. Some people want to see a Hawkeye from the TV show. And I almost guarantee that we'll see that, not today, but from Iron Studios in the future. Like they seem to get all of the Disney Plus shows and all the movies and everything. Someone says Doctor Strange one quarter. We
I
have no idea what's coming up in this segment. Last segment, as we said, was all DC. I assume this is going to be all something else. So we'll see.
But just to go to what Flankster said, Doctor Strange quarter scale, I'd be down for that. You know, I liked the sideshow Doctor Strange quarter scale, but I didn't like the fabric cape. They lost me there. All right, so here we go.
Oh, they showed this one this morning. Maybe
I
they're
think
just
it's
showing
just a
another
re-
close-up.
I think it's just a recap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did see this one, and oh, it's interesting. Like maybe it's the angle, but oh no, I see it. It does that feeling that it looks a little leaned back a bit much.
He's
Yeah.
definitely leaning back.
You know,
I think it's intended. Yeah, I guess it's sort of intended that way.
mm,
Yeah.
nice
Yeah, I would
portrait.
agree.
Though. Body type looks good too.
Suit
Fabric.
looks nice and sleek. I think they could maybe have posed the cape a little bit better, but it looks posable for sure. So you do that to your own liking.
Yeah, posable capes. It could take longer to pose the cape than it does to actually assemble the statue
I know.
to get it the
You
way you want it.
uh, just looking over Gina's shoulder, you got the Doctor Doom there.
Hmm.
I had that at one point in time, and I must have spent an entire weekend posing the hood.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah,
You gave up.
it drove me nuts.
I remember. Yeah,
Um,
you mentioned
drove me
that.
so, and I ended up selling it because I just couldn't get it right.
Well, it's gonna bug you, you know.
Yeah. Yep. I know. Yeah, this one looks good. Um,
I want to go back to the body type again. I like this body type. I think we're seeing like this trend the last few years of guy statues looking overly juiced, and that doesn't work for me. Um, but this is a body type that works. He's still Superman to me in that physique.
yep. Yeah, he looks like a normal guy in a suit, right? Like that.
Yeah.
A normal, very fit guy, right?
Yeah. Well, Henry
Which
Cavill.
he
Yeah,
was,
looks like
yeah.
Henry Cavill in a
He
suit. So
was extremely fit. Do you guys think we'll see Henry Cavill back again as Superman?
It looks like he wants it.
yeah. In what though? Right.
Yeah.
Where are they going with their universe? Um,
I mean,
They,
I don't know. I'm just
they
happy
had
that he's in The Witcher. So
they had a shot.
Yeah.
DC had a shot of setting up Dark Side. The Dark Side War. They had a shot to go there. But they
Rushed
need
it.
to release something every 3 months. Release something every 4 months so that fans are being strung along like they do with Marvel. And those end credit scenes, Disney doesn't own that. They're not the first ones to have done it. They could have kept it going. But
Yep.
it looked like everything just kept on dropping off. We're going to recast this. We're going to revamp that. We're going to restart this. And, fans don't like that. They want to go see 10 movies in a row, providing they make sense.
Yeah, and like what we got here, Polly's Hideout. Suicide Squad gets a sequel, Shazam gets a sequel, and I think those movies probably deserved it. But no Superman. Like, where do they go with Superman? So, we were just saying, um, he does have a few more marquee villains that they could probably do something. Um,
Brainiac totally work.
Yeah, Brainiac would be good. I think they ruined Lex Luthor. I don't think they can go that route.
No.
But yeah, he's got some other ones that could be cool. So yeah, I don't get it either. I don't know why they wouldn't continue with Superman. I mean, Wonder Woman keeps going, right? She's got a second sequel coming out eventually.
Yep.
Um,
That was decided
Aquaman's got a sequel.
time as the second one. They already said they were signed for the third one when they did the second one.
Yeah. Aquaman 2 is going to come out. What else is happening? The Flash. But there's no word on how if they are connected. Because Ben Affleck's status is kind of up in the air, I believe. And
yeah, I think he's going to show up in. I think Ben Affleck is showing up in The Flash.
Along with
believe.
everybody else.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah,
Michael
that's
Keaton's in it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So again, I bet we'll see all of those. Like, whenever that movie comes out, Iron Studios will have statues of all of those. I'm pretty sure. I'd bet money on it right now.
Yeah, the money is like on what they wouldn't do, right? At this point.
Yeah. Gina? We touched on this in the last hour. Who's your favorite Batman in a movie?
Oh, I'm gonna go classic Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember going to the theater seeing Batman 1989. And I did really enjoy his portrayal of Bruce Wayne and how he played Bruce Wayne. And I do remember even the casting call for Michael Keaton when that was announced, and people were like, "Michael Keaton, Batman, how's it going to work?" And I thought he did an amazing job as Bruce Wayne and also as Batman. So he'd be my number one, just out of sort of sentimental reasons, and because I think he's such a great actor. And then a very close second would have to would probably
Space
be Ben
B&B up
Affleck.
on the screen there.
There you go.
Yeah. Awesome.
Do you remember, Gina, 1989, what was going on with Michael Keaton? I remember they kept on going like, Mr. Mom.
Yes, they did.
It's like they really gave him a hard time. And he'd go on
Yes.
Letterman and he would go like, who are these DC ophiliacs? That's exactly what he called them, right? It was just the beginning. Because to Michael Keaton, this was a role he had worked with Tim Burton before. He was
That's what it
handy.
was. Yeah, Tim Burton really trusted him. Yeah,
So it
And
was
still the best Batmobile by a landslide for
I
me.
think so too.
okay.
I think so too. Here we go.
Oh, here
Peaky
we go. Peaky
Blinders.
Blinders. This was just announced like an hour ago. Um, so here we go. 1/10 scale.
So
That's awesome.
How's this actor's name? Syrian Hines, is that right?
It's I'm not sure if that's how
I'm
you
sure I'm not.
pronounce it.
I'm probably not
but
saying it correctly, but that's
but
how
that's
my
that is that is the
my Western Canadian pronunciation of his name.
that's a nice looking piece.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a fabric coat.
Is
Right.
it? No,
I don't know.
no, it doesn't look fabric.
Maybe not.
But I really, when I look at a statue like this, the first thing I look at are the folds.
Mm-hmm.
The folds in the pants, the folds in the jacket, because that's not like a costume. When they're doing a costume, it's got a straight leg or straight boot. Whereas over here, the sculptor is doing all sorts of folds around. Look at the groin area.
Mm-hmm.
Very nicely done.
It just goes to show how advanced the techniques have come now in statue making, where sculpted fabric they can make it look really realistic, and as we're seeing here, because I think we were all questioning if the coat was sculpted or not.
Right.
It just goes to show that just how advanced the technology has come, where it's really
Yeah.
hard to tell. It's kind of hard to get a glimpse of his likeness, but so far from what I see, it's okay. It looks,
It
Yeah,
looks
he's always got that signature hat on
yeah,
in that show.
that's yeah.
As we were talking kind of before the show here, like I haven't watched it. You've watched a bit of it. Anyone out there who has watched it, because there's like 6 or 7 seasons or something. Like it's been going on a while.
A few seasons.
Is
Yeah.
it worth it? I want to know.
6 or 7 seasons. Somebody's
Usually
watching.
that means it's good, right?
Right.
I want to know. Peaky Blinders. Should I start binging Peaky Blinders or not?
So they're actually called Peaky Blinders. The gang is because of their hats, and they used to put razor blades at the very tip of the hat, and then that's what they would use as like a weapon.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a real gang back then, but it was.
Okay.
But obviously, the show kind of, you just some sort of creative license, and but
Again, when I look at this sculpt, the sculptor had a good time with this. He wanted to get it. He wanted it to look as close as possible.
that's
to
the
the
second
source
hit score.
material.
Yeah, alternate head.
Yeah.
So this is the actor who plays Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yes, he was in the Christopher Nolan. So did they swap out the portrait or the head sculpt?
It looks like that. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you had the hat on before. So Carlos is saying amazing TV shows I must see.
Amazing show.
So I
You know
need
what's-
I need
Just
more.
as a quick aside, an amazing TV show. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. Was Black Sails. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It was on an impulse. Someone suggested that we watch it, and we took a few seasons out, from the library, and it was really good. Black Sails. There's my little plug. So
Yeah,
very
I'll look it
nice,
up.
very nice. So this is the main character of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. I should say that. Yeah. So here's Boombox saying watch it. Okay, maybe I will. I have to be very careful in what shows I get started with, because I only have so much time to do it, and if I'm going to stay up late and watch these shows after my kids go to bed, then it's got to be good. So I need to know.
Yeah.
Chris loves shows that just open every week, not all at once. He wants to space it out.
That's the worst. I refuse to subscribe to Disney Plus specifically for that reason. I won't do it.
So that was a long preview for that statue. It must be, fans of the show on their show. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So what's the general premise of this show? Is it a gang show?
Yeah. It's a gang show. It's sort of some of them are like family members. London, the sort of the seedy life of London. I think It's not in Victorian time. I think it's 1910, maybe
So turn of the century.
around turn of the century. And then that actor is the leader of the gang, and then I believe the Scotland Yard is trying to infiltrate the gang and try to put a stop to them. And the gang is involved in, as all gangs are, in exploiting different parts of the city, underworld of the city. Prostitution, this, and that, blah blah blah.
Right.
But I should give it more of a look. I think I just finished six or seven episodes, but I should go back and watch it. It's post-war. So Boondocks is saying it's post-war.
Post World War One.
World War One. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Well, looks like it's something we might need to take a look at some point.
I think I will. Yeah. Check it out. It's got lots of great actors in it. It wasn't or no, I'm thinking of the wrong show, I think. I was going to say it wasn't.
Tom Hardy's in it in second season.
Yeah, I was
Which I heard
thinking
is the
of
best season.
Daredevil.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, look at that.
Some more 10th scale. All 3 or 4? Is there one missing? Frodo.
Yeah. So they have a Frodo that came out a while ago.
Oh, okay. So maybe this is just to finish them up.
Yeah.
Sam has his pots and pans.
So these look like they're probably really small.
Yeah, hobbits. Yeah.
The guy's hand turning the Lazy Susan around, probably looking at 6-7 inches.
It makes sense if they're 1/10, and then hobbits themselves are very small, so it goes to show. But yeah.
Well, something for the Lord of the Rings fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They had there was some preview pictures of a Witch King from this series coming out. I think it's one of the exclusives for the event. At the last Comic-Con, they had a kind of a diorama thing of the Witch King on the, what are they called, Nazguls? Is that right? The flying thing, the dragon?
Yeah.
So it was this diorama with that guy on top of like a castle, and then like all the hobbits were down on different levels of the castle, and there was Gollum there and everything. It's really cool. It came out earlier this year.
I kind of like Samwise's backpack. That looks pretty detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they put more effort on his sculpt than on the others.
Yeah. I think he's the best of those. But it kind of makes sense that I could see them putting more effort on Sam. If more people are going to get Frodo, then they're going to pair it with Sam. So.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. So that's a nice little, venture outward from what we've been seeing so far.
I wonder if they'll do a tree beard. Like, how they have the Sentinels with all the X-Men. They could do a tree beard with all the hobbits or something.
Yeah. Are you, when was the last time you saw The Lord of the Rings?
I watched it sometime last year. We watched The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit again with my kids and stuff, and so within the last year for me.
I was surprised that I thought I was going to like The Hobbit more. I didn't think it needed the 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done it in 1 or 2, and it just felt like.
I agree with that, but I liked it more than I thought I would. So I thought, 3 movies. Wow, this is going to suck. And I actually really liked the first one. I might have liked that one the most out of the 3. But the third movie was a bit of a drag. It was really kind of dragging on at that point.
About The Hobbit, maybe you guys will agree, is Gollum. Look, it's like amazing, right? When you compare how Gollum looked in the original trilogy and in The Hobbit, going, wow, the technology is just crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I still remember when Gollum was still first revealed, and it was stunning. Like back then, that was people were amazed at how they were able to pull that off. I remember that. But yeah, and just now to see how far CGI has gone. Oh, here we go,
Here we go.
Saruman.
Saruman.
Oh, decent Christopher Lee likeness here.
Yeah,
On top of the, it looks like the top of the one of the two towers
and
there.
the two towers.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I really like that base.
See, this is I probably would have liked a few more folds on the robe.
Yeah.
You know, just to make it look old. You know, because this is an old wizard.
Yeah, a little more wrinkly.
Yeah, just look. But it's still nice. I think that you know, it's still a nice looking piece.
Yeah.
It's got it's the sculpt itself has a simplicity of the design. The too many
And yeah, and the paint as well is very simple. And then you've got the globe as that as your color accent.
Are Lord of the Rings fans as scrutinizing as Star Wars fans?
Oh, probably.
I don't think so.
I haven't seen, because we've seen a
I
lot
don't
of
think so.
when,
Because
when
for Star Wars,
Maybe
Star
not
Wars,
Star Wars fans.
No, Star Wars
Star
is
Wars
the
fans are pretty
ultimate.
bad.
No, Star Wars is the ultimate. Like it has to be true to the screen because the screen is what was canon in the original trilogy is what's canon. But when it comes to Lord of the Rings, it's the book, and you can interpret the book in different ways. At least like visually, you can, right? I
You
think
know what else are
that.
bad?
Uh-huh.
Predator. That's a really bad.
Yeah, that's true.
well,
They'll pick apart like, oh, that dot on his face that should be over here. It's half an inch off, and oh man,
Predator's near impossible to get right. You know,
statues, predators are tough. Yep, for sure.
why do people continue to do them? It's very rare that I see someone happy with their Predator statue. You know, I had one. I don't know if you remember, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. You know,
The the XM one, right? The 1/3.
right?
Yeah.
You know, it just didn't resonate. I remember liking it a lot more at the preview stage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that happens a lot with predators.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, Lord of the Rings is. Do you think that this is a market that has the same kind of staying power as Star Wars?
Well, I mean, think about when did those movies come out?
Was it 20 years ago?
I think it's 20 years ago.
God,
The first one.
I
Are
think
you
so.
serious? 20 years?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
I mean, I
You know,
remember
it's so
going.
It's so funny that you say that, because I was on the radio. I was not on the radio. I was listening to the radio, and people were talking about Foo Fighters, and the guy on the radio is probably close to my age. And he goes, when I think of the Foo Fighters, I think of them as like a new group, but they've been out for over 20 years. New group.
The first Lord of the Rings came out in 2001, so it's been 20 years.
Wow.
So I would say, yeah, to answer your question, it does. 20 years, it's a
Yeah.
long time to still be making collectibles and stuff later.
Yeah.
And of course, there's going to be the Amazon series, right? The prequel thing.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's very, very. I mean, I think people
Oh,
are
look at
waiting on. Wow.
Aragorn, the actor, one of these.
Viggo Mortensen,
When
right?
did he retire?
Yeah,
When did
Viggo.
he retire? Oh, I forget. But he came out at the Bell Center, and he took off his shirt, and he goes, "I was wearing this Canadian shirt, during the entire filming of The Lord of the Rings, the Montreal Canadian shirt, because he grew up about an hour away from Montreal.
Oh, really?
And,
Oh, wow.
he grew up listening to the dynasty years of the Montreal Canadiens. It was like
I
really
didn't know that.
strange just to all of a sudden see Viggo coming out like before a Montreal game, and
Yeah.
talking in English and in French and about his love for the team. It was kind of like a stunned silence. And then they go, well, you know what? Why not? He's a 70s kid. Why wouldn't he be a fan of the apps?
So I think here you can see Gimli. I bet that's probably about the size of what the hobbits would have been, right? In
Yeah.
terms of height.
Yeah. And I think that's really smart, putting him on the tomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of comes back to your comment from earlier today, Charles, where they're all about the same height.
Yeah. You know, again, we were talking about this in the earlier show. It looks like what they're doing is they're showing a commitment to a line, right?
Yep.
So if you're going to get Frodo, chances are the other three are coming, and if you're a fan of the other members of the Fellowship, they're going to be coming too. So it looks like they designed them all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's
So I would expect
Gandalf.
Gandalf for sure. They've done a Gandalf the Grey, so I imagine there'd be a Gandalf the White. What's the? They all have such similar sounding names. What's the Liv Tyler's character? I would imagine her.
Aragon.
Her dad,
Isn't
Yeah.
it Arwen?
Arwen, yeah, and
Arwen or something. Yeah.
yeah, and then but
Then
Arwen.
there's Faramir. Then there's Boromir.
There's
I'm screwing this up, I know, but Arwen is the blonde girl, the human
Yeah.
girl, isn't it? And then Arwen or something like that is the elf, I think. And then what's her dad's name? Elrond.
Right.
Yeah. So I would expect him. He was always cool. I thought he was a cool character in the movies.
Mhm.
Well, I remember when those movies came out, like I had not read the books. I just saw the books that they were kind of this thick. Maybe it was a little intimidating for my teenager self. But I loved them. I loved the movies. And I was surprised that they managed to keep my interest. Oh, yeah, the ring race.
Yeah. So I got that wrong. Yeah. So
how they managed to keep my interest. I was excited for all three, and
Yep.
when it came time to buy the Blu-ray set, you buy the extended cuts.
Yep.
For the extra, I think you might get like extra 20 minutes in each extended version. Not sure. But,
yeah.
Well, no, I think the extended version was like it's 4 hours, right? For something.
Some of them are quite a bit longer.
Yeah, or even more. So it's always been that ongoing joke about how long the Lord of the Rings are with like uncut.
Yeah,
But,
that's so
yeah.
this is still 1/10 scale, but that cave troll is
That's
Wow.
you can see it's pretty big.
awesome. So this is awesome for people who always wanted a cave troll but couldn't really get one because the other ones are too big and
Well,
it's really, yeah.
What's good is that with all of these being 10 scale, they all have a very small footprint. You can probably get one display shelf and put them all there.
Exactly. That's why this scale I think has
Yeah.
become so successful for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the orcs. And what I like about them is that some have raised bases,
Mm-hmm.
so it gives you a different kind of look to your display. So they're not all the same size. We talked about this earlier. Sometimes when you get your quarter scale statues, one's on a puck base and the other one's like elevated. Sometimes it irks, but in this kind of dynamic, it actually works.
Yep. This is cool. I like this one.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So that chain around his neck is sculpted, right? It's not actual metal.
I can't. I would guess so. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. It's a good. There's good trilogy. I enjoy it. And I'll probably end up watching it through again and again in the future. Right? They're good.
I
movies.
catch it sometimes when it's on TV, and I always have this sort of nostalgic feeling watching it because I always remember going with my family and watching it when it was out in the theater. But then I also have this sort of there's a bit of sort of sadness knowing that we're never going to see movies done like this again ever. They're just too expensive now.
Yeah.
Just the scale, the scope. And this was the best way. I mean, obviously now in hindsight, how well the movies have aged. This is the best way to have made that trilogy. But we're never going to see this again, ever. The way that movie was made, and I think they filmed it
So
over a
Gina, what you're
year.
saying is that the new Star Wars trilogy is not on par with Lord of the Rings. Is
So
Chris
funny.
Chris knows how I feel about the
I
new
know Gina's
trilogy.
buttons, right? So
He's trying to bait me.
It's interesting you were talking about Lord of the Rings. I think that if they were going to do Lord of the Rings today, it would look very different. The casting would be very different. So,
good point. Hmm.
there is an era of before and after,
But
and
there's also, Charles, a strength in when they were able to film all three together, that you couldn't get studio interference. Like, you know what I mean? You just don't do one film and then the studio says, "Hey, we want to change things for the second one." They're able to film all three at the same time, and they made all three films a beautiful consistency throughout, and a
yeah,
beautiful story throughout, without that studio interference. That being said, it almost killed the director to do it, and he said he'll never do it again.
and then
Um,
he did. Didn't he
yeah.
work on The Hobbit? I mean, like,
No, no, no. He said, sorry. He said
he's-
he would never film three movies again at the same time.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't do that again. Um, so, but I think, yeah, I mean, there's always a sadness from watching it. Like, this is beautiful, and it will never be done like again. Just, you know.
I wonder
But
if they'll
yeah,
do one of the Riders of Rohan, the guy that Carl Urban played. I forget his character's name, but I always thought he had a cool with the helmet that had like kind of the horse face down the nose.
right.
He'd look cool on a horse in 1/10 scale.
Well, 1/10 scale is perfect for a horse. You're right. A
Yeah.
horse and a, yeah.
And the king with the
Archangel is joining us again.
Hey,
Welcome back.
Archie,
Hey, thanks.
nice to see you.
Yeah, welcome back.
All right. Are we going to see something else from Lord of the Rings?
Thundercats.
Ah,
Oh,
No,
that's
you know what?
great.
This
look
is
at
another line that other companies have tried to do, and it always peters out.
I
You
knew
know,
were
they
gonna say
get
that.
Lion-O done, and they might get Mumra done,
And they
and
haven't
then they
finished it.
just don't finish it.
Yeah.
now
And
you
the,
see
yeah.
they're doing it again, right over here, where you're seeing statues with a raised base, all part of the same action scene, and it works.
Hmm.
This came out of the blue. I had no idea they were doing the Thundercats. So they actually did the Jackal. I've never seen the Jackal done
Slick.
in a
I think
statue form. They got the Jackal.
last
They
year
got the
they
Toad.
did all the hero versions.
Yeah.
They did Lion-O and Panthro and all them. So this is all now they got all the villains. This is cool.
Yep. This is really cool.
That-
And they're not making you wait. Like they're saying, listen, exactly what we've been saying. They're actually committing to all these characters, all these statues, so you don't have to worry and go, oh, this is really well done.
to know, like, is this going to be something that people can order 1 month at a time? Or are they all available at the same time?
Yeah, that'd be nice to know. If I remember right, the Thundercats, the hero versions, were pretty well available at the same time. It maybe not all right at once, but within a couple months, I think they were all available.
But even if they're not available at all of those at the same time to pre-order, at least you have sort of a bit of security knowing that the other ones are down the pipeline, and
Yep.
This is really cool.
I'm betting those, what do you call them, hair extensions, those red extensions, that would be something that you would insert one by one.
Yeah, I wonder.
On Mumra, probably.
Too crazy to release it with them already attached.
Yeah.
So
I like the dog in the front.
Yes, Mumra always had he always had his little mutt dog. Yeah. But Mumra also has like a mummy form, so it'd be interesting. I wonder if they'll eventually do like the mummy form of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thundercats. Did you watch the cartoon, Gina?
I loved it. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
That's one, for whatever reason, that one wasn't on TV, like where I couldn't find that show.
Oh, we had it every Saturday morning. Yeah.
I don't know why. The G.I. Joe, Thundercats, and Transformers cartoons. I
You
never
didn't have
watched.
G.I. Joe?
No, it might have been on, but I just never saw it. And but I
Oh,
saw
Mike
Masters of the
and I
Universe
were at the same
and
time.
Ninja Turtles were huge. Those were always on, but the
That's,
other ones
okay.
I don't know why.
yeah,
I always
around the
thought
same.
Thundercats looked cool though. They always
Yeah,
cool
they
character
were
designs.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would have been about um, I don't know, 10, 12. I don't know. So I think you're a bit younger than me. So maybe by the time that you were watching TV, maybe they were done. Because
Maybe.
Thundercats did not have a long run. I think it was only like 4 seasons or five. I can't remember. So it wasn't like a long run. So maybe
Yeah.
by the time you were watching, yeah, the shows were. But it was huge, and their opening theme, yeah,
That's usually what grabs you, right?
it
Like that
grabbed me. Yeah,
the He-Man opening theme. I love that song. Like it just gets me pumped. It's like a pump up song for me, you know? The Masters of the Universe opening theme song.
You
I
know,
think back to when I was a kid and how excited I'd get when I'd hear that.
it's funny that you guys mentioned that. It's all generational.
hmm
Like I loved the Spider-Man cartoon, right? Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
hmm
Like that to me was the coolest thing. And of course, when you look at it now, the animation leaves much to be desired. But at the time, you know, that was great. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun
Well,
to watch.
Spider-Man, that one kind of spanned the generations because that
it
was
did.
on when I was a kid too,
Me too.
and I loved it.
Yeah,
Loved that
yeah,
show.
I loved it too.
Um,
You
that
know,
would
it,
be cool. That would be a good license for Iron Studios to get. Classic Spider-Man animated series.
That would be
and
because they
They
had
could
the
do that one
classic
where they're like
villains.
this and do the two Spider-Man, they like a diorama, you know?
Yeah, the one
yeah,
touching. But they also had like the classic villains. So
Yeah.
it's a good point. They could really open up with that line and just do the classic villains. Yeah.
Yeah.
and to
And they were
keep
all
it
in
really
there at
simple,
some point
right?
in
The way
time.
they did in those days. It was a lot of fun. And there were a lot of other cartoons, that tried to follow what was going on in the comic books. The Fantastic Four was another one. And when animation, it's like there was the animation from the 70s and the early 80s, and then there was like a bump in quality. It wasn't like just streamlined. It was a very noticeable bump in quality. Once they started going into GI Joe, Transformers, Micronauts,
Hmm.
they started attaching toys and more.
Toys. Yeah.
So it was in their best interest to put more money in it.
Yeah. Well,
Whereas
I'm sure you guys have watched The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah.
Have you seen that series, Charles?
I've heard of
And
it.
yeah, and it's basically it goes through the development of the toys, but and how the cartoons were basically made specifically to sell the toys, right? Like with GI Joe. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that goes back.
yeah,
And they explained Snake Eyes and why he was black, right? Because they
yeah,
didn't have enough
it was a big
money.
screw up, right?
Yeah. Well, they didn't have enough money to sort of paint it, so we'll just make this one black and not even
Yeah, and
paint
he's the
it. And
most
then
popular character
he turned
ever.
out to be the
Yeah.
most popular character. Yeah.
What was your favorite toy growing up? Now, when I say growing up, let's give you 6 to 11. You
Okay.
know, well, while you're thinking about it, mine was the $6 million man. He kind of had like this button on the back where you'd press it, and he would lift something. Use his bionic arm to lift. I thought that was like the coolest thing.
Oh yeah.
I loved my $6 million man doll.
Yeah.
And in those days, they weren't quite called action figures yet. You had to live with the word doll. It was very cool.
Yeah. For me, I love the Masters of the Universe, and after that it was GI Joe. I was a big GI Joe fan. Uh, my favorite Master of the Universe was King Hiss. I showed him on our show with David Igo, trying to petition them to make that. And he was kind of similar. He had this gimmick where he could pull his skin off, and he had snakes underneath. And for me at the time, that was just the greatest thing I'd ever seen. You know, and
Oh, someone new on screen.
Yeah. We'll see if there's any more statues coming up here. But Gina, what was yours growing up?
I would probably
Let
be
me
my
get.
Star.
So wait. Let me guess. Boba Fett.
It was my Boba
Yeah.
Fett. This is my Star Wars figures. I
Yeah.
had a few, but Boba Fett was my favorite. And then also, I think a very close second would be Lego. I had like a lot of Lego
Okay.
sets, and then I would just build my own little random things out of Lego. Yeah.
You know, I like Lego, but I like it more as an adult.
Mm.
My kids. Sorry, I buy Lego for my kids, and the Star Wars Lego is definitely the best.
Yeah, it
They have
is.
some really cool Star Wars sets.
You know about Lego. I don't know if you know, but recently or in the last couple of years, they have a line called the Creator line, where they'll now buy Lego sets from people who created them on their own, right? With pieces, and
Oh,
they'll
okay.
buy their design. And we bought one for my son. It's called the Blacksmith, the Medieval Blacksmith. And now what they're starting to do is they're starting to sell like accessory packs. They didn't do this before, but they would sell accessory packs for your Legos if you want to add some funky lighting or if you want to make it look a little bit more complicated, more artistic and creative. I thought that was ingenious.
Ah,
You know, so your one Lego set could turn into two, right? Once you add the extra accessories, and they're sold separately, so you don't have to buy the whole thing with the electronics if you don't want to. But
Mhm.
that's cool.
so, yeah, the Medieval Blacksmith. I think it's called the Creator line. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Or it's not. What do you call those people? Master builders.
I
Right?
think
think
so.
so.
Master
Yeah.
builders. So I guess you can call them self-titled master builders. And Lego's always looking. They're always
Yeah.
looking at new stuff. That's a very interesting company for that.
It is, but they have the line just made for adults. Like they have the Titanic, which I think is
Oh
sold
yeah,
out.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
That's
that's the
amazing.
biggest set they've made,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. These are like the widows. Those 10,000, 15,000 pieces.
yeah,
Yeah, those are, they go into because now you have Legos that are in the $1,000 range, right?
yeah. Well, then they have the new AT-AT, right? Which I really wanted, but it was sold out. Like,
Lego is not cheap. It's not
yeah,
a cheap toy.
it was the same price as a statue, as a quarter scale statue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's something, you know, it would have been nice. You know, toys just seem to get cooler. And as we get older, I don't know, sometimes I feel cheated that I didn't get a crack at that. You know, I get to view it as a cool thing through the eyes of an adult. I didn't get to see it as a cool thing through the eyes of a kid. It's different, you
you
know.
know, I think whenever toys are geared towards adult buyers, I think that they're just elevated to a different stratosphere, and which makes them so much more cooler.
Yeah, like there's a new GI Joe line out right now that I've been sucked into, and yeah,
What is
they're
it?
like it's called GI Joe Classified.
Okay.
It's all made by they're just figure. They're like the same action figures. They're a little bit bigger than the old ones, but they're really nice. I'm like, man, I would have loved to have some of these guys when I was little. Like, so they're really nice.
So why don't you get yourself one? Christmas is coming. Spoil yourself.
I know I have them. Yeah, I have. There's a few that, but the bad thing about that line is that some of them are Target exclusives, like the store
Uh,
Target, which of course is not in Canada, so you can't get them. You have to buy them for extra money, and it's like I'm not that
yeah.
into it, you know.
So what
Yeah.
I'll buy them for a
characters?
retail price, but
What characters do you have from GI Joe?
Snake Eyes,
Okay.
Cobra Commander.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for a Serpentor. Um,
Gotta
and
have
there's
that.
a yeah, and
Do
there's a new
they?
one coming out soon that I've pre-ordered is Crocmaster, who I always thought was cool too.
Oh,
Got like a
Crocbuster
pet.
is cool.
Yeah,
Master.
He
yeah. He's
was
got
cool.
a crocodile. He's the
He has a crocodile. Yeah.
Cobra crocodile trainer, and he's got this cool mask and a pet crocodile.
So do they have the same joints that the originals ones had, or
They got more. Yeah, they're like
they have more joints?
like a modern. Well, hot toys, right? Like they kind of like articulate like a hot toy.
Like
And
hot dogs don't have joints anymore. Do
no,
these have rooted hair, Chris? Do these ones have rooted
no,
hair?
you can't brush their hair.
Uh,
Okay, they must be wrapping up here.
yeah,
So
Okay.
this, just so to clarify, we weren't sure what this is. This is a vote. Fans can vote between these two characters and decide which one gets made into a statue. So I think they're doing it on their Instagram, Iron Studios at Iron Studios on Instagram. You can go into their stories and you can vote on these which one you like or would prefer to get made first. So
I would think.
it's not which who would win a fight, which would have been better.
Which they're doing. I'm going to assume that they're going to do both anyway. Given
Yeah, you'd think so.
These two are buddies, right? You would want to display the two of them together anyway.
Yeah,
Gold and Blue Beetle.
yeah. Booster Gold's kind of a neat character. I thought he was kind of neat. He doesn't get a lot of attention, but he's kind of cool.
I think it has something to do with the way he was introduced. In Justice League back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Sometimes if people don't get a great first impression, it could linger for a long while. Then you got to wait till a hot artist or writer, gets on the character and revamps him in some way.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible that they've wrapped up. They didn't show many statues in this second round.
Yeah, I'm guessing that yeah, you're right. I think they're about over. So we'll give them a few more minutes just to see. But it looks like segment 2 is finished. So Lord of the Rings and Thundercats. So what, Charles, which one of what was shown here stands out to you?
Well, I really like the idea of the Lord of the Rings being presented as this universe of statues that can pretty much fit on one display stand. I thought that really worked well. And they did the same thing with the Thundercats, but I'm not as familiar with that universe. I think I would have liked a bit more detail in the Lord of the Rings sculpts. They had like, was it the
Like the Hobbits
design?
Maybe the Hobbits, right?
Yeah, even in Saruman, that there was too many smooth surfaces. And this is coming from us looking at what was the name of the first one? The gang movie, the gang show?
Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Peaky Blinders. We saw that first and then saw Lord of the Rings after. So,
Peaky Blinders was cool. Gina, what stood out for you?
That cave troll with the orcs around. I mean, you can just make a diorama just with that, and it would be stunning in your display. That to me stood out, and I know I do agree with what Charles was saying. So some of the details of the Hobbits maybe it wasn't there, but those details were definitely on that cave troll. Like you could see every little wrinkle on that cave troll. I think it was really done well. And then a close second would have to be the Thundercats, Mumra and all of his villains. That to me came out of left field. I wasn't expecting that. For them to go hard, for Brian Studios to go hard on those villains, I've never seen any statue company because some of those villains could be considered sort of B-list, C-list characters. I've never seen any collectible company go for those characters. So that to me came out of left field. Yeah, that to me came out of left field, and I have to give them kudos. I immediately went, oh my gosh, the jackal is the toad. I mean, I flashback. So that definitely comes as a close second.
It's interesting what you said. Just one sec, Chris. It's interesting what you said about, B-listers, and not many companies do that. At one time, Bowen was the only one who did that, with the B-listers and the C-listers, even the D-listers in the Marvel Universe, and they would sell, right? You make it economical, people will buy it. And the 10th scale, like we were saying earlier, even in our prior airing, that if you keep them affordable, people will buy more. So this 10th scale is a very interesting venture for them, and it looks like Iron Studios is saying we want to be the 10th scale company, and no one can compete with us right now because they'll have 2 or 3 characters, we'll have 30.
Well, and they can, and I think the statue awards every year kind of bear that out because they win it every year, the small scale, and deserve it. They have a huge lineup of statues to choose from, and they're really good. They're polystone. They got the details keep getting more and more intense on each year it seems, and they're really nice pieces. Um, I think today for me, I would agree with Gina. The cave trolls that's the winner for this part two. That was really cool. So I don't know. I don't know what he's pointing at here. I
I
keep
don't
waiting for
know,
them to
but
show something else. It doesn't seem like it.
that studio is awesome, and they have that grab machine at the back, which is so cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't notice that till you just said it. I was looking at all their TVs kind of flashing.
I was looking at that grab machine. I was like, that's such a cool thing to have in your studio.
More than one camera going at the same time, right? So
Well, this is a pretty pro looking
It's very yeah.
setup.
It's very yeah.
They invested in this. Like as I said, I think other companies could probably take note here.
do you know who
What
these
they're doing.
people on the left are? Are they sculptors? Are they part of the company? Or?
It says who they are on the itinerary on their website, but I couldn't tell you what that means. Why they're there. Let me just find out.
So I would think that while you're doing that, I think in our next segment we're going to start seeing Marvel, right? Tomorrow?
Yeah, I would assume tomorrow.
Yeah, there's one. Can we talk about one of the previews that we saw online, or should we just?
We'll wait because we don't know if they're going to show it or what. We assume they will, but we're not supposed to.
No. Well, there is one particular license that I'm very curious to see. It's one I got kind of excited about. So it should be.
Yeah, it doesn't say who they are.
That's going to be quarter scale or 10th scale. They wouldn't be showing, like in this segment, it's all going to be new stuff. So we wouldn't be seeing the 3rd scale Harley Quinn that's already on sale, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, they already had because they already previewed that in another stream. We could probably find it on YouTube again. They had streamed that and sort of revealed that 1/3 Harlequin a while back, and that's when I was like, well, that is really good.
Do you have any 3rd scale, Gina?
No, up to this time, I've actually sort of, kind of kept away. I mean, they're just a little bit too big for me, and there's some of them that really pique my interest. But that Harlequin one, I really find interesting. I think it's the best portraits that they have for her, and
I like the one with the mask. Okay, I think they've wrapped it up here. So there we have it. That's part 2 of Inside Iron Studios, the statue reveals. And we're going to be back tomorrow, same times. So we got 11 a.m. Eastern, and then again at 3 p.m. Eastern. 2 more rounds of reveals. So I'm sure we're going to see all the Marvel stuff tomorrow. And then who knows what's on tap for the 3rd one. I mean, they could be Jurassic Park. It could be Back to the Future. They got a Back to the Future license. They got anything you can think of. So anything and everything could be up for grabs here. So anyways, thanks to everyone for tuning in, participating in the chat. We always appreciate that wherever you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. So make sure to tune in again tomorrow, and we'll talk to everyone then.
All right. It's nice to see everybody.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.